Would you be considered as a likable person? I hope so. I think that one of the reasons we're here on this planet is for the sake of relationship and connection, love and goodness, things of that nature. And that implies that we have a camaraderie with one another. In other words, we learn how to like each other. I think that's an important ingredient for a vibrant life. By definition, narcissists can come across as likable for a while. But over time, as you get to know them and that initial veneer is shed, you begin seeing all sorts of ingredients that make them very unlikable, sometimes to the point where it's like you can't even deal with them. And so today I want to do a compare and contrast to the likable versus unlikable. I want to just make a few comments here up front about what is required to be a likable individual, some of the ingredients involved. And then I have 10 ingredients that we can watch for in a narcissist that make them that unlikable individual. The more you have an awareness of these kind of comparisons and contrasts, then the more it can prompt you to be on the side of being a healing and a positive presence in others' lives. And, one of the things we say is a narcissist can rob you of you. Well, I want you to have a good sense of who a healthy you is so that you don't go into their place of unhealthiness. So when we talk about a likable person, first we're talking about somebody that's authentic. What you see is what you get. There's no hidden agenda or there's no pretense. How that person presents themselves is a good depiction of what they really are. You're not playing guessing games with them. Likable people are tuned in. They have a true interest in who you are. They want to know about your unique experiences. They like knowing about your history or what matters to you and what motivates you, and not so that they can then learn to manipulate you because of having that information. But it's just like, no, I want to know who you are. And that's the empathy. That's the connection that they can make. Likable people are friendly in general. There can be a pleasantness about them when you're around them. They tend to comment on things that are uplifting and good. They are physically and emotionally available. They're encouraging. They can be agreeable, even in the midst or especially in the midst of disagreements. In other words, likable people may just ask the question, how might I be an affirming presence in your life? Likable individuals are us-centered. They realize that life is not lived out on a solo island, but we're all interconnected. And so they make decisions and they respond to life with that usness in mind. Now, having said that, I want to zero in on 10 different qualities that you're likely to find in the narcissist that can make them quite unlikable. And as you notice this, I'm wanting you, again, as I mentioned, to learn how to separate off from that as opposed to sharing with them in these unhealthy kind of characteristics. So of those indicators that makes a narcissist unlikable, number one, narcissists can be unlikable because they have very poor listening skills. What did you just say? I said they have poor listening skills. Narcissists don't really hear you very well. They don't hear the essence of who you are. You want to be heard, you want to be known, but narcissists don't really care about how you think or feel. In fact, if you do, just even tell them simple things. They can hijack the conversation. If you tell them, hey, thus and such happened, they'll say, yeah, that reminds me of something about what I did. And they don't pay attention to you because in their world, it's all about me. Number two, narcissists can be unlikable because they have a strong judgmental nature. They can be critical. As you're engaging with them, you kind of get the feeling like they're watching you for the purpose of giving you a grade, and there's a real good chance that your grade is not going to be a passing grade. You blew it again, didn't you? You failed me again. That's how they tend to think, and after a while you pick up on that, and you just know it's just an inevitability. A third reason they can be unlikable is they can be dodgy. And when I say dodgy, I mean they can be evasive or they can be emotionally unavailable. To them, truth is relative. It's just whatever they need it to be in the moment. They can be two-faced. Over time, you begin thinking that how they present themselves, even if they're friendly, is just an act because there's something else going on. They always have a hidden motive. Truth to a narcissist is whatever they need it to be in the moment. That's dodgy. Number 4, narcissists can be easily argumentative, even when it's not really necessary. If you're doing something simple, let's say you're in the kitchen and you are proceeding with a particular project, a narcissist might just say, why you got to do it that way? Do it this way instead. Or if you're at work, or if you're in a social situation and you talk about a preference or an idea, they can just shoot it down real quickly. What's wrong with you now? They can be easily contrarian, or they can be nitpicky in the way that they engage with you. And it's like, can we just get along? And a narcissist is thinking, it's all about the contest and I have to win. And let me point out why you're the loser in this equation. They can be easily argumentative. Number 5, narcissists can be unlikable because they have an almost complete inability to admit mistakes. All right, let's start with the likable person. The likable person says, yeah, I make mistakes sometimes. And it's actually a breath of fresh air when somebody can just be open about it. Narcissist is like, no. They can't say phrases like, well, I'm not sure about that, or I don't know, or man, I really blew that, or I miscalculated. It's like they're so defensive and they have that shield up that they can't really show their humanity. And it's like, I can't say things like that. Like, yeah, after a lot of exposure, I know you can't admit your mistakes. Number 6, narcissists tend to have a low capacity for gratitude. There may be many episodes in your time that you've spent with that narcissistic person where you're thinking, well, I want to try to be a positive presence. I want to say and do nice things. I want to be helpful. Well, a narcissist, if you do nice things for me, instead of thinking, well, that was really nice, their mindset is, well, you owed it to me anyway. Keeping in mind, they have a very special opinion of themselves. And so if you do something nice, it's like, rather than taking it as a pleasant gesture on your part, it's like, no, that was your duty. That was your obligation anyway. And so when you're helpful to them, as far as they're concerned, they're thinking, well, good. That's your function. You fulfilled your function. Keep it up. Gratitude is not something that they express or feel very strongly at all. A 7th thing that can make narcissists unlikable, and that is they can be disrespectful of your time. Now, it can be that narcissists themselves have such a tight time focus. Here's how things have to unfold, and here's the timing, so they can be impatient when you're not doing things according to their timing. Or it could be that they go to the other extreme, and it's like they just are so loosey-goosey in their management of time. They can be chronically late, or you're counting on them to do something, and it's like, I don't care what kind of time frame you're on. You're not me. And so they don't really have a strong respect for your time parameters. And then kind of close along with that is number 8 as to what can make them unlikable. They have a high focus on their own preferences, but a low focus on your preferences. To the narcissist, it's all about me. So let's suppose that you say, here's a movie genre that I enjoy. And the narcissist can say, I don't care about stuff like that. It's like, well, I didn't ask you to. But to them, there's one way to look at things, and well, you know, it's the narcissist way. So if you have a preference of social activities, if you have a preference regarding the way that you want to manage a project or how you want to proceed with certain kinds of things, it's like, no. My preferences, my interpretations are the only ones that matter. Why are you the way that you are? And so after a while, it wears you out. A 9th way that narcissists can be unlikable is they're just not very safe. Many times you'll find that after you've gotten to know a narcissist and they've learned some things about you, they'll take information about you and use it against you. They can put shame on you. They can put guilt on you. They can say ugly things about you behind your back. And it's like, being self-disclosing and being revealing to that narcissist can get me into a whole lot of trouble. They're not very safe. And then finally, why don't we say this one? A 10th thing that can make them unlikable is they can have extremes when it comes to cleanliness or organization. Sometimes they can be so anal and so insistent on things having to be a certain kind of way that it's like, I will never be able to live up to your perfectionistic, nitpicking preferences. Other times they're so sloppy or so disorganized or unconcerned about how disruptive they can be that they go into the complete direction, but they can have extremes in their cleanliness and organization habits. Now, those are 10 characteristics that can make a narcissist unlikable. And frankly, we could go a lot longer on this one. But I want you to see that these kinds of characteristics that they bring in their relationship with you, they want to make it all about you. And they want you to think, see, the reason that I have problems is you don't like what I like. When in fact, there's something going on inside of them that's of that self-absorbed nature that causes them not to be able to have that usness that I mentioned a few minutes ago. So I'm hoping that you can watch and observe and be aware of the ingredients that can make them that unlikable person. And we can go back to my earlier comments and determine, I want to go in the direction that says I'm here for positive reasons. I want to be an uplifting presence. And if that narcissistic individual cannot do it, I want to watch and take my observations of that and use it as motivation for me to be the better person. Let's each one of us do a good job of self-care. Let's make sure that we take care of our own personal initiatives. But then, unlike that self-absorbed narcissist, let's do it while at the same time being aware of the broader social implications. I think that's a better way to go. Notice Gus just kind of hangs around and he's kind of sleepy. When he's awake, he's a pretty likable guy. Let's be like Gus. I do hope that you gain from videos such as this, and I really wanted to stimulate you not only to understand that narcissistic pattern, but for you to begin to breathe into your own much healthier alternatives. I want you to learn how to be that healthy individual in contrast. If you've not already done so, hit that subscribe button. We'd like to keep you apprised of more videos that come along. And remember, I have an article that's on our website, survivingnarcissism.tv, and it goes along with this video here. And so you can go to the website there and access this. And we actually have an email list, and we'd love for you to sign up for that so that we can keep you apprised of other things that are going along. If you have a need to talk things out with a licensed professional counselor, and in this day and age, it may be that you either don't have access or you'd rather be able to do it in the comfort of your own home, we have links below for that, and I would hope that you would avail yourself to that. One of the things that I know that happens by watching videos such as this, it can stir up all sorts of thoughts, and if you want to unpack that with somebody, I think that would be a great idea. We have links below to my online video workshops, my books, and even coffee mugs. So make yourself available to that. Thank you for letting me be a part of your journey. I hope that you can focus on you being that more genuine, likable person. And as that unlikable narcissist comes along, you can just kind of let it be known that's where you are. I have a much cleaner way of living. That's where I'm going. Let's go in that kind of direction. Join me in that.